Hi you guys. Hopefully this video, hopefully it's not a glare. Can't really tell looking at the camera, looking at the screen. I don't really see a glare, but let me just take these off just in case, because I wanted to be in the comment section like, oh my god, it's a glare, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So I am super excited about this video because it is a collab with my bitch on YouTube, Sky Santana. Before we get into my portion of the video, let me show you the clip from Sky.
Kind of just like left me there, but it wasn't in like a intentional like a fuck you nigga, you on your own type of way. It was in like a follow my lead nigga, just keep fucking walking like they don't know it was us. But I was scared. I was scared as shit. I'm like, yo, today gonna be the day where I go to jail. I mean, I'm going to jail with my man, but my man ain't got nothing on these motherfucking thugs that's gonna be in his jail. That's probably gonna beat his ass and my ass and make us both his bitch. Like, like what we gonna do? I'm not ready for that life.
Sounds lit, right? I know. So since I'm doing this story time collab with Sky, I had to think of a really good juicy story to tell you. Sky got all the juicy stories, so I had to dig deep in my inventory of stories, and I'm just like, what can I bring you guys today? Like, well, tonight, because it is currently 6:53. It would be 7:53, but you know, time moved and all that. East Coast, you know. Anyway, this story time is about the time when I was dating I was about to say a prostitute. When I was dating a substitute at my school when I was in high school. So this story happened my junior year of high school. I was 17 at the time. Was I 17 or 18? I was 17 at the time because it was after my birthday. This was around like February or March, and this is when I started dating. Not dating, but this is around the time I started talking to my ex. I've did multiple story times about him, the ex that I was dating while I was in high school. This was around the time that I was dating him, and it was probably like February or March, and it was this teacher at my school. When I say everybody was like obsessed with him, like he wasn't a teacher, he was a substitute, but everybody was obsessed with him. Like, and for the longest time I didn't even know who he was. Like, I never really paid him any mind, but everybody was always talking about him. So I don't think I went to class that day. Like, I was just wandering around the school doing what I wanted to do, and I was with one of my big sisters at the school. I was a junior and she was a senior, and we were in another teacher's classroom because the teacher wasn't there. This was around like Spirit Week time, so they were really lenient about everything that we were doing. Like, the classrooms was messed up, nobody was really in class, and this, that, and the third. So I was always in another classroom that wasn't even my class, and it was a substitute teacher, and it was my big sister. So he wasn't the class, it wasn't not a substitute that you see on TV where they're actually teaching something. My school, pretty much, when you have a substitute, they're really not doing anything. They're just watching you because your teacher's gone to the next period. At least that's what was going on that day. It probably had something to do with the fact that it was Spirit Week. So everybody's just in the class, on their phones, this, and the third, and he's sitting at the desk, and me and my sister are sitting next to him. And I remember she was really flirtatious, and she was saying how she liked him and this and the third. And like I said, I really wasn't paying him any mind, especially since I had just started talking to somebody else in school. But we're all sitting at the desk, and the conversation got pretty, like, it got really X-rated, but it wasn't like X-rated like extremely X-rated. It was like X-rated, like you know when you have like those adult conversations and everybody's just talking about like what they like and just talking about like sex and like adult things in general, and we were all just having like a really mature conversation. So he started like saying stuff about how like he preferred to deal with younger women, and I always been the type to be able to tell when somebody likes me, for one, when somebody is dropping hints, when somebody's lying or being slick. Like, I have a good observation level for stuff like that, so I can tell that he was trying to drop some types of hints and stuff like that. So we're sitting at the desk, and he's like, the desk is against the wall, and he's at the desk, I'm next to him, and then my sister was like kind of like to the side, and like while he's talking, his leg was like touching my leg, and it wasn't like by accident. Like, oh, your leg is just touching my leg on some accidental shit. It was like, I knew that it was intentional, that he was purposely trying to touch my leg. But like I said, I was just like not for it. Like, I'm like, this is a whole substitute. Like, I'm not with the shit. So we continued to have that conversation, and I have no idea how, but we exchanged numbers. I really do not remember how this even came up, because I know at the time I was just not with the shit. Like, I just was like, this is, what the hell, he's a fucking substitute. Like, I really wasn't with the shoes. He definitely was cute, and everybody was hyping him up. I thought he was cool, but I really wasn't pressed for him. But back in, like, especially my junior year of high school, that was my most arrogant year. I'm like so not arrogant how I used to be, but back when I was like a junior, that was my most arrogant year of high school ever. Like, you could not tell me shit. I knew I was a shit. It was just point blank period. So I was the type who wanted to have the best of everything. Like, I think junior year I was like vice president of my class. I was captain of the cheer squad, and like I just wanted, like, I just was that bitch. Like, and that's just how I wanted to be with everything. So even though originally I wasn't interested in him, the fact that everybody else was, and he was interested in me, was just like ding ding ding. Like, it was just like ringing bells. Like, I just wanted all the bitches to be mad, but at the same time I knew we couldn't be public with it because he was a teacher, blah blah blah. But just the thought that I had something that everybody else wanted, it was just one of those things. So I just wanted to have an upper hand or something. I was young and dumb. I was 17 and he was older, so I just wanted to say like, oh, I'm talking to a teacher. Like, I just wanted to be that type. But anyways, I was talking about this video that I had did. This is when I started making YouTube videos, when I was like probably in middle school, but I started like really getting into it like my freshman and sophomore year in high school. So I was talking about this video that I made, and I had on like a bra and panties or whatever, and I wanted it to be like a video vixen type video. Of course I never uploaded it, but I just had it. That's when I just wanted to practice editing. I did it in slow motion. I played like Neo's Lazy Love. Like, I just made a little nice little video vixen video in my room, and I was just talking about it, and I was saying like I really was into editing and stuff like that. So he had asked could he see the video, and at the time I'm not gonna say I was talking big shits, but I was just like, yeah, like, sure, like, I'll show it to you, because I felt like I was that bitch. So I had to, what the fuck, why is my ear ringing? So we exchanged numbers or whatever, and I think later on that night he had texted me and asked me like, are you going to send a video, this and the third, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't about to send it, so I was just like, no. Like, I was just bluffing him. I don't even know what I said, but I don't know, maybe I didn't reply. Like, I know for sure I didn't reply to a couple of messages, this and the third, but I wasn't really saying anything. But when I came back to school the next day, I told, of course, my two best friends know me, Deja and Imani, they know everything. So all of us, them two knew, and then my big sister knew about it. So not my real big sister, but my big sister at school. So she knew about it because she had a crush on like another teacher, and it was just this big old thing. So I was just talking big shits with her, and I was talking big shits with them. But the whole time, like, especially my junior year, I wasn't with the shits. Like, technically I would be more with the shits now, but that's not even something that I would do. But back then I was talking like I was with the shits, but I really wasn't about nothing that I was talking about for the most part. Like, nothing. I told everybody what was going on, and of course my friends hyped it up. They like, bitch, you know, talking like ghetto as fuck. Like, bitch, yes, you gotta get him. I'm just like, oh my god, like, here they go. So just like, it's just something to talk about. It was fun. We was all juniors. We was a squad. Like, we just, I don't know, like, it was just a rush. Everything that I was into at my junior year, I really just wanted to give me a rush. Like, pretty much everything. So we were like texting, but we never went out or anything. And I remember one night he had asked me could we go out to the bar, and I don't remember what I said. I just know that I bluffed him out, and he wanted to go to the bar or whatever, and I just wasn't with the shit. So when we was in school, we never said anything to each other, like, at all. Pretty much I really never saw him because he was a substitute teacher, so he was never in classrooms. I would see him sometimes in the hallway, and I saw him a lot in the gym, but I never really saw him in a classroom because he was a substitute teacher, so most of the time the teachers were there. So for weeks he would like take me and my friends home from school. Like, we used to, when I was in high school, up until my senior year, freshman, sophomore, junior year, I did not leave school right after school. Like, senior year, that's when I was more mature. I was just over everybody, over everything. I really was just in school. I wasn't even cheering anymore. I wasn't on the student office or anything like that. So I was just doing school and work. So senior year was when I got my first job. So I didn't even have time to be hanging around after school. And so senior year, I was just pretty much going home straight from school or going to work after school. But freshman, sophomore, junior year, me and my friends did not leave the school until it was dark outside. And I lied to you not. We used to be on that bus stop while it was dark outside, and that was normal at my school. My school was just like a real homey type of thing. So pretty much all of the athletes were always there. I was an athlete, but even on my days that I wasn't at cheer practice, we was still just around the school. My godmother was my English teacher, so I was even in her classroom. Then we was even with our mentor. Like, we always had somewhere to go. Teachers to us were like family. Like, so it wasn't like we was just sitting in the hallway. So for the most part, we was always at the school really late at night. And since it's probably cold outside and, you know, we got on our plaid skirts and our knee socks, we did not want to catch the bus after school. If we had to catch the bus, we would catch the bus. But if he was available to give us a ride, or anybody for that matter was already available to give us a ride, as far as like our teachers and stuff like that, we would just ride home with them. And we just stayed around, and he would just take us straight home. And I remember he intentionally, like, going home freshman and sophomore year, me and my two friends have always lived close to each other. We were friends since before high school. So it's me and my friend lived like 3 doors apart, and then my last friend lives a couple of blocks up. But I had moved my junior year, so by that time I was living a little bit farther. So I remember that the way he took us home, it just didn't make sense. Like, he took us home, so I was the last person in the car. But when we was the last people in the car, he never really said or did anything. It was just listening to music and just talking a bunch of shit. Like, he never tried to touch me, never did nothing like super uncomfortable. We was just riding, like, we was just chilling. We was just super cool. Everything was fine. It was just something fun to laugh at. Like, he would be driving, he was a teacher, whatever. I would be in the passenger seat, and then my two friends would be in the back. We'd be listening to music, dancing. Like, we were just bad. Like, we just wanted to do fucking everything. So I know for sure that I did use him once. I'm not gonna say I used him, but I wanted to get my nipples pierced, and I got my nipples pierced my junior year. But you know, if you're under the age of 18, you have to have like a parent consent, this and the third. So I wanted to get my nipples pierced, so we got him to come with us to not sign for me, because the lady who does my piercing, we don't have to do like signatures and stuff like that unless you're like really, really young. But he just had to be there. So he was there when I got my nipples pierced to make sure that, you know, I could get it done. So that was that. Went home. All of that was fine. The only time that we actually met outside of school, like on our own accord, besides seeing him at like out of school events, was we were all at my friend Imani's house. We were all at her house, and we're chilling, and he just asked if we could get some drinks. I'm just like, whatever. Like, by my junior year, I had only been drunk once in my life. That was the first year that I ever drunk anything. So I just was not with alcohol. And I remember the first time that I got drunk was on New Year's. Mind you, it's like February, March. It's probably like March. So the first time I had ever got drunk in life was New Year's, and I had peach Ciroc. So that was my first experience being drunk. So anything that smells like peaches, I just did not want it. And I really wasn't for alcohol. Like, I was new to it. So when he asked what I want to drink, I said, long as it's not peach Ciroc, I'm good. But I really didn't know anything about alcohol because I had only drunk once in my life. So, wow, times have changed tremendously. But anyway, I told him like just get anything. I think he got the little berry Ciroc or whatever. So he picked me up from my friend's house, and we rode in the car, and we rode probably, it wasn't that far, it's probably like 10 minutes away if that, and we just rode and drove next to a playground or whatever, and we just sit in the car. And he gave me the alcohol, and he was just like, here, like, just drink some. And I didn't even drink any. I think he drank a couple of sips of it, but I didn't even drink anything. Because I was like, first of all, I don't like the taste of alcohol. To this day, I still don't like the taste of alcohol. I'll take some shots and do what I do to, you know, have a lit night. But I don't like the way alcohol tastes. I don't think anybody liked the way that alcohol tastes. So I didn't want to drink the alcohol. I did not want to get drunk. I had to go back home. Like, I was 17. My mother, I still had a curfew and all of that. She's like, gotta be home. What are you doing? But anyway, he told me to drink this up. I just wasn't with it. He was drinking this and the third. So we've never kissed, and we still didn't kiss that night. I think he like kissed me on my cheek or something like that, but he asked if we could go sit in the back seat of the car. So I'm just like, ugh, whatever. So when we got in the back seat of the car, he was just like hugging and like hugging and kissing on me, but not kissing me. And it was just so weird to me. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Like I said, like the whole point of our relationship was just it was an egotistical thing for me. Like I just wanted to feel like higher up. I wanted to have something that nobody else. I didn't really want your little knockaboo. I didn't want any of that. So I was just like, what the fuck? So you know how friends get down. I text my friend and I was just like, emergency call home. Every friend knows what that means. Every girl has that when you gotta pretend you their mother, or you gotta be like, bitch, come home now. So I think she had called me, like she already knew what to say. She didn't respond. I just said emergency call home. So she called me and she was like, Kanice, you need to come home now. I said, alright, Disney, I'm on my way. That's my bitch. So he was like, we gotta go home. I'm just like, yeah, we gotta go home. So he's just like, alright, cool. So he drove me back home. That was that. And that was, I had just started dating my the guy that I was dating while I was in high school. So that's when I just broke pretty much all my ties off with him. I still said a couple of things here and there, but we stopped texting. It wasn't really nothing. So it was towards the end of the school year when things started to get like really bad. Because I thought everything was fine. Like we didn't talk. Like everything was cool. We just kept things cordial, this, that, and the third. I'm showing one of my friends, and not even a friend, more like an associate. It's like literally the last week of school. Probably it's maybe if it's not the last, it's like the second to last week of school. And I'm showing one of my friends a video of when I got my nipples pierced, and they could hear somebody talking in the background, and of course it was him. And she was like, who's that? And I said his name, and she was like, he was there. And I'm just like, yeah, he took me. And she was just like, oh my god. And I didn't pay no mind. I was dumb for even saying that. Like I know now you don't trust these bitches. Like I don't trust nobody but my like day one bitches. But back then I was just like, yeah, like of course I never really bragged to anybody about it because I didn't want him to get fired. I would have definitely got in trouble. I wasn't doing it for that. It was more of a personal thing, like I said. So nobody really knew except for my two close friends. But they wasn't my two closest friends, but they was just cool. Like we've been friends since freshman year. It's a small ass school. It was cool, but I don't even think it was them who snitched. I think it was somebody that overheard the conversation. You know, bitches be nosy. Like bitches be nosy. Like why would you listen to my conversation? People like that just get under my skin. Anyway, the same exact day I get called down to the office. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like they already don't like me at that school. Like why am I here? I get called down to the office and I'm in they take me to a little secretive room, and everybody, I'm just sitting in a little chair, and it's just three little principal, however the people, I don't even remember who was in there, but the people were just looking and they like, hey, do you have bodily piercings? And I'm just, in my mind, I'm thinking like, excuse me, is that any of your business? Like why do you care if I have bodily piercings? Like what? I'm just like, yes. And it was like, did such and such take you to get those bodily piercings? And I'm just like, no, what the fuck? And I'm just thinking in my head like, first of all, y'all don't got no proof on me. And BTW, I can tell the story now. He don't work there no more. I don't go to school there no more. Nobody really gives a fuck. Anyway, he just like, yeah, did such and such take you to get this piercing? And I'm just like, no. And it was just like, they basically released me because they didn't have any proof. Like I said no, that was that. So by the end of the day, I'm just like, what the fuck? This is why you don't tell people things. Like this is so crazy to me. And it was real crazy how we played the 50. We was in the teacher's room, and I like walked through. So the teacher had two doors in her room, and he walked in he was already in the room talking to the teacher, and I walked in and I had just said like, hey to the teacher or whatever, and we played it so cool. Like he was like, what's up, Kanice? And I'm just like, what's up? And that was that. So he walked out the first door and I walked out the back door, and like as we both walked out the door, we like looked at each other down the hallway. It was like you know, and like went our separate ways. That was just a movie scene to me. Like honestly, that was just one of those scenes. It should have just played in slow motion if it was recorded. But like, yeah, he walked out the front door, I walked out the back door, and we like looked at each other, was like, and like walked away. And I'm just like lit. Like that was super cute. But after that, we didn't really say anything to each other. I was like the guy that I was dating was like really serious by then. I forgot all about it. It really wasn't even that much of a big deal to me, but that was that. But after that, the next time, let me tell y'all about this motherfucker. So after prom or whatever, we're at an outside of school event, and y'all know he came up in there with his fiance, his pregnant fiance. I'm just like, this motherfucker then got married. Like how? Like how did this? What the hell? Like, And I know, like, technically I can't be offended, but it was just like I'm a child. Like, at the time, I'm like, I'm a child. Like, me cheating on my boyfriend or like talking to somebody else while I'm in a little relationship or whatever you want to call it, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, I'm 17, this is high school, come on now. You're in your 30s and you have a whole fiance or wife or whatever. What the hell are you thinking? I'm just like, whatever, like, it is what it is. I didn't care, like, I didn't have no hard feelings. I'm just like, me and my friends just looking like, bitch, do you see him over there with his fucking wife? I'm disgusted, but it's all cool. Like, I haven't seen him. He didn't come back my senior year, so senior year he wasn't even working there, and I don't think I've ever seen him again. I know my friends saw him, and it was just like, it's really not that big of a deal. But if we see each other, it's no hard feelings. It's really not that big of a deal. Everybody trying to make it seem like it's that big of a deal, but it's not. Do I recommend talking to a substitute teacher or any type of teacher that matter? Hell fucking no. Not because I did it and I'm telling you it's the worst thing in the world, because technically I didn't get caught, I didn't get in trouble, so I ended up all good. But I'm telling you, for your personal sake, for one, that person can lose their job, and two, it's just really not a good idea. I'm telling you from older Kanice, don't listen to younger Kanice, don't do it. Older Kanice is telling you younger ones not to do it. It's a bad idea. It has bad idea written straight across it, like straight across it. Badass. So that's where my head was at. But I'm telling you now that I'm older, like, bitch, what was you thinking? Like, what the hell are you on, Kanice? Anyways, shame, Kanice. Listening to my old self, I was a mess, okay? I was a mess. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you are here from Sky's channel, hello everyone. Make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell button, so anytime I upload a video you will be able to be notified. I got good videos coming for you guys this week, so please subscribe so you can be ready. Story times, crazy girlfriend behavior, it's going to be a good week. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video.
Such a shame.